Prince Phillip died, so we're going to play Earthbound today, but those two things aren't related. They're not related. But we're going to play Earthbound a little bit. First of all, just got to say a few things. Where's my pointing finger? To point that way, look. See that? We made affiliate, so we can gift sub. I don't even know what it means. Gift a sub now to be number one. I don't know what gifting a sub means, but you can now do that. And Amazon Prime, something. But apparently they're all connected. I've got to do a bit more investigation, a bit more learning. But apparently Amazon Prime's got something to do with it. So if you know what I'm supposed to be going on about, then I haven't done any emotes. I haven't done any little pictures to go with your subscriptions. But we will do them together, I thought, because I didn't really... It's such a big thing, isn't it? It's such a big thing, choosing the image that people get to use in chat. Such a big thing. It should really be something emotive as well, shouldn't it? It should express some kind of emotion. It should be something positive. It should be something, expression of positivity. But then do people use a lot of expressions of positivity in chat? I don't know. But it should be, shouldn't it? That's what it should be. Or maybe some other emotion. Maybe confusion. Maybe the Johnny Depp, whatever emotions. Johnny Depp's not coming today because he's so sad about Prince Phillip. We'll talk about that in a minute. I thought the best thing to do with Journey of the Broken Circle would be to complete the full playthrough and then edit it all into little sections and then upload it all as one complete piece, as a full playlist. Because what I didn't want was like a little video here, then something else, then a little video here. So on the channel, imagine my YouTube channel, battery exhausted. You can search for it on the internet. There's probably a link in Twitch somewhere. Look, on the channel, I wanted it to be so that if you came to the channel, you'd be like, oh, what's this? Episode 1. And then all of them would run consecutively from episode 1 to episode 16, all in one block. And in order to do that, you have to upload them in reverse, because the last video you upload will be the first one people see. So then I thought, right, well, I'm going to have to edit the whole thing. So I can't edit backwards from the end to the start, because I don't know where to start. You have to edit the whole thing. And then once you've got all your episodes done, upload them all and then release them in reverse order. And I thought to myself, well, if I'm releasing them in reverse order, then people are going to see like episode 15 comes up. And then they're going to be like, what the F is that? Why have you started with episode... Oh, 14 has now been uploaded. Oh, I see. And if they're watching, then it's going to be out... So what I needed to do is get them all uploaded at the same time and all released at the same time, so that it didn't confuse people. So it was there all at once, so to speak. And I was doing quite well with it. I mean, I edited for a good 2 days and got them all done. There's thumbnails involved. That was a chore. In actual fact, I found making the thumbnails a chore. And I'm not up to the stage as a streamer yet where I've got a separate editor. I'm happy to do the editing myself, but we've talked before about how it affects my mental health for some reason. Editing in long sessions like that seems to... It didn't at the time, but today I'm feeling the result, I think, of that big work sesh, that crunch sesh. Because then after it... I uploaded them all, and as I was releasing them in the right numerical order, for some reason I made a mistake and I released number 9 and number 8 in the wrong order. So then it was number 9 and number 8 were the wrong way around, and I had to delete one off YouTube and re-upload it, and that took half an hour. And whilst that was happening, I was going, oh no, now they're not going to be all up at the same time. So there was like a 4-minute gap and 8-10 minute half-hour gap between the first chunk and the second chunk, during which I felt stressed. But that was yesterday. Look, I'm waving my hand. You can't even see it. I'll wave that one instead. That was yesterday. Today, they're all up there. They're there. They're there. They're there. They're there. It's okay. They're there. So that's good. So now you, the Ganji Puka Warrior crew, can watch the entire playthrough without all the garbage without all the bits like this where I just ramble on and on. Just like the main playthrough of the game, the things that I talk about are mainly related to the game. It's all there in episodic form on Battery Exhausted. I did consider starting a new channel. Should we discard Battery Exhausted and start a new? I can't think about too many things at once, but it's there on Battery Exhausted, so it's all edited, and that means you can watch it. I've been in contact with the developers of the game again. They were busy over Easter. So was I. So was everyone, weren't they? I didn't realise it was Easter the weekend. So anyway, we didn't get the interview done this week, but hopefully next week I'm going to push on with that. We got Zoom sorted. I don't know if you saw that. We did a little test. But it turns out that Zoom can only talk to people for half an hour and then they want your money. So I don't know if that's the solution to our interview problems. But at least we can do a half-hour interview at minimum, and then we can do another one immediately after if we need to. So we could do the full hour. It's just that we'd have to split it into 2 separate meetings through Zoom. So that's a step forward again. And I feel like we've been making these steps forward and that we've got a lot on the plate. Like turning affiliate is fantastic in a way. It's lovely, isn't it? Now I've got that picture box of a present in our chat. Whatever that means. Whatever that means, but that's there. I can change it. Look now as well. I can change it. I'll look at that. You can cheer as well. Cheer. Cheer. What's cheering? What's cheering? I'm just happy if you make a little comment and talk, and involve yourself in the broadcast. I'm happy if you don't. I'm happy either way. I'm just happy being here and talking. I love talking. It's all about me. Me. Right. So anyway. That's been happening, and I've got to decide on an emote, an emoji thing. We've got to decide on it together. It should really be a positive emotion. It should be something that other people in chats can see and go, oh, that's nice, that's interesting. I like the look of that. Where did you get that? I'd like to be able to express that same emotion in solidarity. Yeah. It's interesting, and also it has to fit in 23 by 23 pixels, so that revived my interest in pixel art. That's going to happen. We're going to do that, but it's something that's a bit beyond me in my head at the moment. 23 by 23 pixels. If you've got any ideas, work on them, send them in. I'll be interested to see them, discuss them with us. We'll discuss it together, and the Ganji Puka Warrior crew will come together and choose them. We are going to induct people into the Ganji Puka Warrior crew through an ASMR video experience, and I'd love it if we could get the ASMR mics plugged in, so I'd love it if we could get the good computer to do that, but I'm still working on that. When I say it's going to be next week, what I mean is I'd love to do it next week, but I just have no idea about how long things take and how much work I have to put in. So I make promises that I didn't realise I couldn't keep. But next week is always another week away, it seems. But it is being worked on, and we are pushing towards it. And we have made some big strides forward this week and last week. And I did do a lot of editing, and I am here now. So it's all good. The next thing I wanted to talk about is Prince Phillip died. Should we get a picture of him? No. Who does he think he is, slurping his tea and not inviting me? Right, so the Prince Phillip is the Queen's husband. Now, this is important. If you're watching on YouTube, you're going to see a picture of him. If you're watching it here on Twitch, you don't have to. You understand. You probably see him on the news. Right now, on Twitter, there are loads of people making loads of comments. Some of them are really respectful. Some of them are really harsh. Prince Philip himself, far be it for me to say, was a bit racist. And I don't want to be saying these things today, and I'll explain why. Right? He died today, didn't he? He died. So regardless of what your feelings are, certainly, especially if they're negative ones, today is not the day to be laying it on with the shovel and, burying him. It's reminding me of Mark Antony's speech in Julius Caesar, Shakespeare. I come to praise Caesar, not bury him. Anyway, that's a bit off the cuff. See, I'm feeling a bit weird today. I'm feeling a bit weird, just thinking mad stuff. My point is this, that yes, there are some fair negative things that you could say about him and his character and the things he's done over his life. No, I do not personally applaud him for everything he did. I do, some things were good. I'm a vegan as well. He shot lots of animals. I don't like that. He was the patron of animal charities. I do like that. I don't know. So now's not the day for any of that confusion, for any of that politics. He just died. His wife's sad. His son is sad. His other sons and a daughter, they're sad. His grandchildren are sad. Okay, they're royal. They live in the palace, and they've got the Prince Harry's married to Meghan, who's really beautiful, and she's married to Prince Harry, who's really interesting. Yeah, I get it. But today is the day that a family member of theirs died. So today's not the day to go on Twitter and say the mean things. Have some respect for the dead. Regardless of your political leanings, have some respect for the dead. That's a point I'd like to make. And another point I'd like to make is that the Queen is probably not reading your Twitter. Prince Charles is probably not scrolling down his social media today to find out what all the people thought. He probably ain't following. I put a thing on Twitter, but he doesn't follow me, so he's not going to see it. So if you're thinking about posting something interesting about Prince Philip on Twitter today, be you Gary Lineker or be you Scotty Hottie, maybe just think today's the day that someone's granddad died, and is it appropriate that I use it to gain attention? They're just some thoughts from the Scotty Hottie. I'm sure that lots of people say lots of mean things about him, you see. I'm sure they will. And I don't disagree with some of them. But I just thought I'd call for some balance. Not that anyone's going to listen to me, are they? Not that anyone's going to listen to me. Not at this early stage. But in the future, after we've had some people cheering their one diamond cheer there, once we've had, I don't know if it adds up, 2 diamond cheers, 3 diamond cheers, 4 diamond cheers. I don't know what that is. And the little presents, once we've had some little presents going, they'll start listening. Then they'll start listening. Right, I'm glad we got that out of the way. That's just the politics. And it's just how I feel. It's just how I feel, innit? It's just how I feel. It's got feelings. I have got feelings. I have. So has everyone else. Everyone's got feelings. I've got hurt feelings. I've got hurt feelings. Once I played a gig with my guitar, my acoustic, the local cinema. It sounds stupid, doesn't it? The cinema. Who plays a gig at a cinema? But they had a bar there and it had a balcony, and they used to put gigs on, sort of acoustic gigs weekly. And the people that were going to the cinema would sit in and watch some music and then go to the cinema. And when they came out, we'd still be playing the music. Anywho, I did a little bit on there. I did my little songs. And for the warm-up, for the sound check, I played Hurt Feelings by the Conchords, Flight of the Conchords. And I didn't play it in my set. But at the end of the set, someone came up to me and said, what was that song you played in the warm-up? Was that Flight of the Conchords? That was the best one. I was like, no. What about all the songs that I wrote, that I put my heart and soul into? Maybe I should have just done Flight of the Conchords covers. Anywho, we are playing Earthbound. Virtual, I hope you feel a bit better soon. Thanks. I don't know what it is, really. I'll go big face again. And just quickly explain again. I'm feeling a bit... I think it might be like physiological. I think it might be. But it also might be a sort of depression symptom of tiredness from doing all the editing. And it also might be that when Prince Philip died today, which is sad, it's reminded me about the other people that I know that have died recently that's sad. It's just a bit of a weird one. It's just, I'm a weird one. I'm a weird one anyway, day in, day out, aren't I? But I can't quite explain how weird I feel today. And that's why I think it might be the progressive development of a blood clot in the brain. The anxiety will not let me forget that there's a 1 in a million chance that could be happening to me because I had that vaccine because of being a carer. I mean, I'd still have the vaccine. I still think everyone should have vaccines. But I think maybe they're a bit, they rushed to use a particular vaccine in our country because maybe there was political and financial capital involved. Although it's a not-for-profit vaccine, I'm sure that Boris Johnson's investment banker friends who tell him what to do have got some irons in those fires. We're not getting political. Prince Philip died. We told you. When someone like that dies, you just have to be... you don't get political. It's not the day for scoring political points. It's a day for being respectful because someone's granddad died. And there's... Hello, doggy. In America, there's 50,000, 500, nearly 500,000 people who feel like that, who feel the sadness of a lost loved one. When we get to open up our... I'll go back to Earthbound in just 1 second after I've had my little ramble. When we get to open up our societies again, because in England we're going to be able to open up our society again soon. Americans also feel screwed. Yes, the Queen's still a person, isn't she? She's still a person. Her husband has just died, regardless of her fantastic wealth or position of power. She's still a person, still someone's granddad. And yeah, 500,000 Americans have had a similar loss in their life. Even more. There's more. That's how many people have died, isn't it? There's more people that have felt the losses. So, am I a monarchist? Again, today's not the day for discussing political allegiances. I have thought it through several times, and I can't really. It's difficult. Just briefly, just to explain, it's difficult when you live in a country all your life and are brought up to respect and take pride. Pride's not a virtue, but we are taught to be proud of things in our Western societies. Things that may not be. Does she remind me of my granny? In a way, she feels that sort of. She's of that generation, and when you grow up as a young person, see this older lady doing these matriarchal things. It's interesting that we live in something called the patriarchy, but we've had a matriarch for a long time, so that's been good in ways. People are just born into things, so I don't judge them on being born into things. In the same way as I don't judge someone for being born into poverty, I don't judge them for being born into affluence, if that makes sense. It's about how they behave and what they do with those privileges. Whether I want to remove the institution of monarchy or not is kind of irrelevant nowadays, because back in the day we did have a civil war in the UK, in England. We had a civil war. Oliver Cromwell beheaded our king, not him personally, but he had a civil war and won it, and we set up parliament and beheaded the king, basically, roughly. I mean, I could go into more detail, but that's a rough way of describing it. And then about 50, 60, 80 years later, they reinstated the king. But not the one that had his head cut off, not that one, but they reinstated the king, but in a sort of in a less powerful way, so more as a tradition, a figurehead. I can see why people in a modern world would say, well, it's absolutely silly that you should be born into the state of monarchy and then you get to be the king. That's silly. And on our desert island together, when we have our desert island together and we're rocked up on the shore, we're washed up on shore as a Ganjipuko warrior crew, I will not have it if anyone claims to be the king or queen and pass that on to their children. And I'm not going to have that. No, we're all going to be equals. But that's not the world that we live in, is it? That's not how it all worked. And for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, British history has had a monarch since, Celtic times. The monarchs have changed for different political reasons, but there's always been one, except for that small time after the Civil War when we cut their head off. But the interview's still on. I think it is. They said they were busy over Easter, and I didn't realise it was Easter. But the interview will still be on, hopefully. I could show you the emails if you want, that they said, they're a bit busy on Easter, but we look forward to doing something soon. So this week coming up, I've set up the Zoom, that's working now. So this week coming up, I will email them and be like, hey, what about some day this week? I'm not a royalist, but I feel compassion for Lizzie. I'm not a royalist either. I love, certain aspects of the fact that we have a royal family, if that makes sense. Not the direct, detailed personal issues, but there's something magical. I think magical is a good word for it, in the concept of a palace and a king. These fairy stories you hear when you're a kid, they're not just fairy stories if we do have a palace and a king, are they? There's some reality in the magic. And the fact that we talked about Elizabeth on stream before, but the fact that sorry for knocking microphone, the fact she drove trucks in the war and devoted her life to service in ways, there's a difference. Monarchy doesn't mean that you're born into wealth, therefore you just live like a pig in shit. Oops. And the paupers can just lick your boots. It doesn't have to mean that. You can live in service of the community in the same way as you can if you're not born into wealth. So I think it's fair to judge people on what they do, not on the titles they're given at birth. So it's a very complex and confusing issue. it gets political, and I'm not, like I said today, someone's granddad died, so I don't think it's fair to argue the politics of his life, but it gets political, yeah. And you know what? If I had a priority list of things that I think we should fix in the world, then the monarchy is going to be possibly on there. Possibly, you know, we can address that at some point, but not right now while we're having kids die and animals die and global warming and polluting the seas and sexual predators, and women can't walk the streets at night, and racism, and the police can kneel on your neck and kill you in America. In England, they do horrible, brutal things, but fortunately have not recently killed somebody. Yeah, I just, you know, when we can fix those things, then we can maybe turn to the monarchy and be like, look, we've got such a progressive society now that what you're doing doesn't seem apt, but how do you feel about just leaving it? Like, maybe we can get to that point, but it seems silly to be worried about it when, you know, financially, taxpayer money, I might give the Queen 50p a year. I think that's what it works out at. And to be honest, if she asked for it, I'd give her a quid. Right, it's got a picture on it as well, hasn't it? It's got her own little face on it, so that'd be nice here. But, you know, I don't mind. I think that's okay. But in the big scheme of things, yeah, you know, yeah. Fairy tales might serve as propaganda for the monarchy. That's a good point. What a really interesting point. I did say as well, yeah, like I was born into this. You know, I grew up I was taught to God save the Queen, in the same way as Americans are taught to God save the flag. I was born into that, and it was drummed into me at school, and I was born a Christian. You know, I learned about Jesus. I think the monarchy and of course they're connected, because the Queen is the figurehead of the church in our country, but in the same way as when you're a kid, you're told about these, you know, I'm not going to say Jesus was mythical. Again, we're not getting political and arguing about religion here, but you're taught a certain thing when you're a kid, be it this, be it that. I was taught Christianity, love thy neighbour. Like, the principles have made me who I am. Always help those in need, things like that, you know. But what do I think about Jesus and whether he lived and did the things they said he did in the Bible? I don't think the Bible is, you know, obviously the Bible's written and rewritten and translated and retranslated for political reasons. Religion had control of the masses before we had systems like republics. Well, no, republics are old. I don't know. You see, it's all complicated, but in the same way, you know, there's a monarch and in the same way, you're just taught these ideas, and then when you get older, you can question and dismantle. But like I said, I don't think today or any day the priority is getting the Queen off the throne, because we've got some really other major important things that we need to deal with before we look at, because she doesn't even, the head of state doesn't even have much say in the running of the state anymore. It's just a token position where they can do things publicly to a certain extent, and there's one final thing to say about it that's positive, is that the monarch does bring, like, the concept of a monarchy brings a lot of tourists to the tourism to the UK. It has created a lot of history that people are interested in, so it's interesting. So that's nice. I don't think Harry want to be king. Charles definitely does. Queen and country is kind of a vow to kill. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not killing anyone. I just think that it's nice that some people can be nice to other people from positions of great power and wealth. They're not all like that, but certainly some of them are. Queen Elizabeth has been. Prince Charles does a lot for the natural world. He's very interested in environmental factors. Yeah, and it's sad that someone's granddad died. So that's that. We talked about that. We've done the big face, and while we're here, we have made Patreon. You probably better support me on Patreon than on here, because I don't understand this stuff. But this has got we haven't got emojis yet, but we're going to all develop them together. We're going to come up with them. But you can be a present subber, and you can be a cheer diamander, a diamond cheerer. So they're available to you now. Wouldn't it be weird, just looking at that we've just looked at, wouldn't it be weird if someone came forward and said, look, I'm the King of America. King of America. From now on, I'm going to be the king. Do you think they'd have it? Do you think they'd have it over there? You wouldn't have it, would you? What if, I wonder who would have to, what sort of person they'd have to be. I wonder whether a Native American could come forward and claim rightful heir to be the rightful heir to the country, or whether it would have to be someone popular like Oprah Winfrey, who the nation in general could all get behind. I suppose that would be popular. That would be a politician, wouldn't it? A populist, popular. So maybe there's one thing in that we have a monarch who doesn't have to worry about whether they're popular or not, who can do theoretically what they think is the best thing. It'd be cool to have then they'd just be politicians then, I guess. They wouldn't behave like monarchs if they were democratically elected, I guess. Because they'd have to play to your heart to do what you think is best, not what they think is best. What they think is best might not always be right. Give them special powers. I'll tell you who sounds like that in our current system is Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, who's that other fella with all the money? All of them. All the people with all the money, they seem to have special powers, don't they? They can do what they want, sort of. Yeah, pretty much can do what they want and have the power to change the world in drastic and like quite measurable ways. Probably more power than the Queen. Probably Elon Musk has probably got more power than the Queen. Haven't they? Probably more. Would you say more or less? Because the Queen can't like buy shares. Like the Queen can't. I mean, there's so many things she can't get involved with, isn't there? So, but Elon Musk can. Elon Musk can get involved in anything he wants. He can shoot his money off into space if he wants. Can't he? He can shoot his money off into space. If Elon, I'm going to talk about you all the time on stream so that one day you get tired of it and tune in. Who's this guy talking about me, all this rubbish? That's how Elon Musk talks when you're not listening to him. Who's that guy? That's how Elon Musk talks. He one day he's going to turn up here in stream. And Elon, if you're listening, please just buy me Birmingham City Football Club. Buy me Birmingham City Football Club. Right? I will turn it into a money maker, not for you, but for the city of Birmingham, for the poor people in Birmingham. That's who will make the money out of it. I'll turn it into a money maker for them. And there'll be so much joy shared through that. That would be nice. Please, Elon, you can afford it. They're not even that good. They're not even that good. It's not like Man United, mate. You're not going to have to shell out loads. We're not going to be on at you for new players all the time. We'll just do a youth scheme that will bring through the talent from the area of Birmingham and surrounding areas, that really invests in the young people in the area and shows them that opportunity is just, a hair's breadth away. Elon, if you're listening, buy me that football club, please. Not please, just do it, you savage. If you're listening and you didn't, then that is savage because you got all the money. Don't spend it anymore. But well, you helped me out with the Dogecoin, I guess. That Dogecoin wallet's now worth more than it was, but like I can never get that out into my bank. Let's go back to the game. Where's the game?